Bloomberg Audio Studios.
Podcasts, radio, news.
When it comes to foreign policy, the U.S. has sought to cultivate a deeper partnership with India. And if you think about it, it really makes sense. There are about 4.8 million Indian Americans in the United States. That's according to some Census Bureau data. Indian Americans account for 20% of the nation's Asian American population overall. 2/3 of Indian Americans are immigrants. 34% are U.S. born, and around half of Indian Americans live in 4 U.S. states: California, Texas, New Jersey, and New York.
So many numbers, Carol.
I know. Well, I want to give a little bit of a set because these guys are thinking a lot about that community. Reaching out to the community are our next two guests. We're welcome and delighted to have with us actor-comedian Hasan Minhaj. Forgive me. Minhaj.
This is all good.
So,
we're live. We are live here on Bloomberg TV.
Hasan Minhaj, along with Sanyal, who co-founded Kolkata Chai Company with his brother. Welcome. So great to have you here with us. Anya, I want to start with you because tell us about Kolkata. And our producer, Cece, has been down to the Soho location, says it's incredible, very good. You have 2 in New York City. Tell us about how it all came together.
Yeah, so 5 years ago, my brother and I decided to do the craziest thing possible, which is bring authentic chai to America. We grew up being able to travel back to India a lot, and New York City, you can find anything you want to eat and drink, but it was really hard to find a good cup of chai. So that's where we started. We opened 6 months before the pandemic. We bootstrapped our first cafe location, which I don't recommend, but 5 years later, we are at 3 locations. We just brought on, one of the more generational talents in this country to join the business, and we're super excited.
Hasan, how did you get involved in it?
So funny enough, I had heard about the cafe for a long time. Getting a great cup of chai is kind of somewhat of a secret in our community. You talk about where you can get a great cup. I had heard about the cafe over in Nolita, and then funny enough, my wife put me onto it. I get back home, I open one of our drawers, and it's filled with KCC.
Seriously?
Yeah, and she goes, "Have you had Kolkata Chai?" And I go, "Yeah, I've heard about it. Is it the real deal?" And it became Bina approved, and therefore it became Hasan approved. And then I went down to the location, their location. They're celebrating their 5-year anniversary this week. But I went down to the Nolita location, and I saw the community that they've built. They now have 3 cafes, and of course they obviously have the incredible D2C business, and they've built this amazing omni-channel platform. And me and Ani got to chatting, and a lot of times, celebrities, we get asked to participate, and hey, you should endorse this product.
Right.
And what they'll do is they'll use your name and likeness, and they'll white label you with some commodity, tequila, sneakers, T-shirts, and that's great. I've done that.
Or you
before.
drink it on the Patriot Act.
Sure.
Or
yeah.
show.
Or you talk about the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3 by Verizon 5G, the fastest 5G network available, right? I've done that commercial.
But this is different.
This is different. This is something where I genuinely loved the brand. I loved what they had been building, and I wanted to authentically tell our story through tea. Tea is one of the largest markets that's growing right now, and getting a great cup of chai has been something that in our community we've always wanted, and they really cracked the code, not only just from their brick and mortar business, but the fact that they broke the code with the masala chai concentrate.
Right.
So when I was having that great cup of tea at their location in Nolita, I was like, wait, this same cup can be here in New York City. I can have it in the Midwest. You can have it wherever across the country, which was like that was the aha moment for me.
My good friend Kriti Gupta used to make me chai and bring it into work, and then unfortunately she was transferred to London. So now I'm in the market. Yeah. What is the secret to making it really truly authentic?
Yeah, what's the Coca-Cola recipe?
I wish I could. No, the secret is my brother. He's the head chef, and he's figured out the perfect blend of tea, spice, and a little bit of sugar to get that sweet and spicy balance. We source all of our tea from legacy tea estates in Assam in India. So this is where 100 years ago they planted tea, 200 years ago they started planting tea, and so all of our product is coming from that region. So we're talking about the most authentic, unfiltered product that you can find.
What Paris is for fashion, I would say Assam is for tea. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. Ani, how big is the market? I have a daughter who loves it, was in Tanzania, brought it back, loved it. So tell me how big the market is and tell us a little bit about the business.
Yeah, so in the U.S., the packaged tea market is about a $15 billion category.
Right.
But it's growing slowly because tea is a little bit sleepy. However, you have these modern formats like matcha, which is actually growing at a 10% CAGR. And so we see ourselves as that next iteration of matcha. You mentioned, the growing Asian American population in this country, and that is fueling this need for people to want to have the real thing. we don't want to go to, the takeout spots or the fast food spots. We want that real, authentic, from the source product. And so that's really where we're excited about chai as a new category. And our business, so we've grown 300% year over year. So we are on a rocket ship right now. Top line revenue. And that's accelerated by our direct-to-consumer business and our e-commerce products. So we do...
Is that where most of the business is, and that's where
That is where most of the revenue is, yep. So we use our brick-and-mortar locations as community building and product introduction to the market, since chai is relatively new. And then we accelerate that growth on direct-to-consumer. And so we have a best-in-class chai mix, which is like a tea and spice mix. And we do a liquid concentrate product, which Hasan alluded to as well. Yeah. And you can make chai in 30 seconds at home, so we're going to get you right. That's
what you guys were talking about was exactly the problem that they solved. Hey, I had a colleague that put me onto this great cup of chai. My daughter came back and gave me this great cup of chai. And the difficulty has always been is how do you package and product this great experience that you had somewhere in Tanzania or somewhere in Delhi or in Mumbai or in Assam, and how do you get it to the break room?
Yeah,
and that's what they crack.
You don't want to go to Starbucks and get the chai tea latte.
I'm not here to throw shade on any other places, but what KCC has also done, which is historical, is they're the first storefront location for a chai cafe. So this thing that is
different.
Yeah, that has a deep resonance in our culture. It was usually relegated to like a side item that you would get at a restaurant, but this is like a true brick and mortar storefront and an omni-channel business.
What do you do to grow it? So what's the plans? Is it more stores? Is it more omni-channel?
You bringing him on to grow it, right?
Or do you also like?
What's the new movie? It ends with us.
It ends with us.
Drink a cup of tea and it
yeah. Number one movie at the box office.
There we go.
But also like bringing it into other big retail.
Yeah, no, you nailed it. I think right now our growth is happening on direct-to-consumer and e-commerce, so that's really where we're dialing in. New product formats, new ways of advertising and telling that story. I think having Hasan, generational storyteller, bringing chai to mainstream America through that type of format, through that pop culture format, that's what we're really excited about. And then to your point about retail expansion, being in grocery stores, that's the next step for us. We want to be accessible to all Americans.
For me personally, it was about a healthier caffeine alternative to coffee.
Is there no caffeine?
There's caffeine, but there's
not
not to get too scientific, but there's L-theanine in it, which is almost like a cleaner, kind of healthier sort of kick that you get from chai. So and also for people where if coffee's giving you a little bit of a rumble in the tumble, it's messing with your tummy a little bit. Chai is a great alternative to that. And so for me, I think people really want the real thing, and they want a healthier alternative to coffee or espresso.
And did you give some to Blake Lively? I mean, you passing it on to people who aren't Indian? You want
to me, chai fundamentally is about community, family, commiseration. It's like intrinsically linked to joy and being together. And so, like, to me, the X factor to me was, why isn't this having its yerba mate or matcha moment? And I think it really is about to have that.
All right, this was almost perfect. It would have been perfect if you had brought us a cup, but...
Did you want a cup? We could have plugged it?
I'm just saying. Hasan Minhaj and Sanyal, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Kolkata Chai Company. This is Bloomberg.